Jazz hands, 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 jazz hands. What's up, everybody? It's a glorious, glorious Monday. What happened to my camera? Hold on. There we go. Camera action. Ooh, I didn't shave this morning. Sorry, guys. Didn't know I was going to be able to do a show today. There was a lot of chaos in the air this morning, so I didn't shave. So sorry. But I think it just adds to the Monday flair, because we got that Monday flair. What's up, right? We'd be like, didn't shave today. I was on daddy duty today up until about noon or 1. Oh, there's my arrow. I got to put my arrow over there. I can make it flash. But you can literally hear the mouse clicking in the background, right? I bet there's a button on the keyboard I could use for that. And maybe it'd be less mouse sounding. But, hey, I was on daddy duty all morning since 5:30 in the a.m. when the little baby woke up. And then, till like 12:30, which is fine. Had to run out, get all the stuff done that I was going to get done this morning in like 2 hours. Run around, try to get the show together. I don't know. What do we got? But we do have some stuff for the show today, so don't worry about that because we have an unboxing. We got to open up some plants. My bros and my lady bros out there. I use bruh for everybody. Everybody's included in my bruh. You know, bruh? All right. I think everybody gets that. Although I did post on the Discord the other day, I thought it was a little bit crazy. The male to female ratio on this channel is a little bit off-putting, you know? I don't understand, you know? It kind of makes me laugh at certain points in time because, I don't know, I would have to look and see. Let me see if I can get my scroll wheel in full scrolling action here on the Discord. And see if I can get up to find it. I mean, I screenshot it on my phone and posted it up. Oh, man, I'm scrolling as fast as I can scroll. Oh, lordy. Because I might be able to, I could just download it and then post it up. If I see what it is. Well, there's where I posted a new thumbnail image that I took that has created a little bit of Facebook nonsense, which I thought was kind of funny. One of the creator groups I'm involved in, I posted a thumbnail image of Crinum calamastratum because I wanted to see what not fish people YouTubers would think of a plant image like that, what they would think. And most everybody's reaction was at least friendly in the take of like, Hell, I don't know where I posted this. I'm scrolling like crazy and I can't find it. Oh, well. But it's like, it was something crazy like only 4% of the people that watch this are female, which I thought was weird because I feel like a lot of, maybe just the few females that actually watch this channel comment a lot. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I was surprised to see that in the analytics. I thought it was a little bit odd. I have to close Discord because it's like all scrolled weird. But I thought it was kind of funny because I posted that picture and most everybody was pretty friendly about it, but there was, they were just like, what is this, like a video about pulling weeds or something, which, hey, I understand, like if people outside of the hobby are like, what's that? I don't understand what that is. It must be like somebody doing some gardening thing or whatever. And so my first take on posting that up was to be like, I wonder what people that are in YouTube, they're all YouTubers, right? So this is like, I don't know, 5,000 people that are all avid YouTube people. They're posting videos all the time and constantly going back and forth about what they're up to on YouTube. And, the initial impression was like, I don't know, is this a video about pulling weeds or something? And most of it was pretty friendly. But then it kind of turned into this weird thing where, because I basically gave an explanation of, I let it go for a while and didn't comment or anything. And then basically was like, here's a plant that's pretty well sought after in the aquarium hobby. It's a very popular plant that's used for aquascaping, blah, blah, blah. I let people know. And then the knee-jerk reaction from a lot of people was, oh, so you're like in this niche and you understand that it's a niche and none of us knew what it was and blah, blah, blah and all that. And I was like, no, more to the point is that a lot more people, I feel like, on YouTube should be posting videos about stuff that they know, because most of the people on there are like travel vloggers and stuff like that, which I feel personally is like you're making a video that's like Casey Neistat's video or something. You know what I mean? It's like you're making a copy of somebody else's thing. And, over the years, I've definitely gotten the comment from a lot of people. They're like, stop doing the live show, stop doing this, stop doing that. I don't like this, I don't like that. Don't do this, don't do that. And I understand that, like, if there's a creative thing, like if somebody didn't like something creatively, or you didn't like, or like the music mix was too loud or something like that, I appreciate those comments. That stuff is all great. Like if I screw something up, I want to know about it. If it's, oh, you edited this wrong, like, oh crap, sorry about that. But, the people are like, just stop making whatever it is that you're making, because I don't like it just as a generalized stance. Always seems kind of weird to me, and I'm going to keep making the live show whether it's popular or not. To be brutally honest with you guys, there's 56 people in here right now, and if I was in a room talking with 56 people about aquarium or aquarium care or whatever we were talking about, I would feel like, wow, there's a whole bunch of people in this room, and I would be happy with that. If I had a band and we played to 60 people on a Saturday night, I bet everybody would have a good time, right? I bet everybody, I don't think that many people would be like, man, if only there was 200 people there, then it would have been good. So I play to my core audience. I love being able to come on here and have at least the minimal conversation that we're able to with you guys typing and me on the delay and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to keep doing the shows that I'm doing. But one thing that I did notice is that those little 3-minute videos of me just doing whatever, people seem to like that a lot. So I think I'm going to keep making those, and I'm going to take that and run with that. But I did find it kind of odd that a lot of the YouTube community would kind of like have this weird backlash at, oh, you're in this niche, blah, blah, blah kind of situation, which I thought was a little bit, personally, I thought it was kind of off-putting, because even in people that are like creating and hope and potentially like supporting other creators and stuff like that in that space, like just immediately take that downturn of, like a negative attitude or whatever. I don't know. It was just super weird. I don't know. I don't know how I got onto that, but you know. But I would like to say hi to everybody that's here, because a bunch of people in the chat, lovely people in the chat that I'm glad to see. Lord Getface, Zen Ginger, Daryl Dimer, Jamie McDonald, Fish Ion Tank Dick, Scott Gordon, Barbara Jackson, who is like, you got to shout out to like Daryl Dimer, Jim Smith, Barbara Jackson, all the green names in the chat. Those are all people that are members, and we do have a brand new member here, Soren Johansson, which, you know, I'm not going to try to jump to any conclusions here or anything like that, but I feel like Soren Johansson might actually be at Vivarium this coming weekend. This is the last live stream I can do until I get back from Europe, because I'm going out. I'm going to try to film as many fish rooms, stores. We hopefully are going to some of the aquaponic, hydroponic, whichever they are. Hopefully we're going to go to a farm of those. I don't know. That's sort of one of the things that's an unknown, but we're definitely going to some stores. We're going to some of the breeders. We're going to some local fish keepers, you know, like fans places. We're going to go everywhere we can. We're going to film everything we can. I'm going to steal. I'm going to be stealing Johan. We're going to go wild. We're both, you know, he's 40. I'm 39. We're both this middle-aged men getting, and I would say wild with air quotes around it, because, you know, I'm a sober guy, so we're not going to be partying. We're not going to be doing any of that kind of stuff. But we're going to be driving around the Netherlands, filming every fish-related thing that we can find. Is that wild? I don't know. Hey, guys, we're going to get wild and film some people's fish tanks. But thanks to all the members, you know, people that have become members, people that were previous members, people on Patreon, all that kind of stuff. A big shout out to you guys. I wouldn't be able to even think that I'd be able to go to Europe if it wasn't for YouTube, the fish community on YouTube, the plant community, aquascapers, whoever you identify as. You're all bros to me, and however you identify, it just wouldn't be possible without your guys' support and stuff. And it's been a rough week, so I feel like I just want to say thank you as much as I can. Soren says, sorry, it cannot be at Vivarium. Oh, darn. I know some people have messaged me. They were like, you're going to be at Vivarium? What's going on? What day is going to be there? So I was making a mild assumption that you might be there, but appreciate you becoming a member regardless. It seems like that's the direction that YouTube is going. They want people to support being members. I know it's $5 a month, and it can be, you know, some people out there, it's like, hey, I don't have $5 a month. Hey, appreciate it. Don't worry about it. I've lived under a bridge in a van down by the river, so I fully can understand if you're just kind of in a tough spot. I get it. I've been there. So, you know, there's no shame in working your way back up. But I want to say thanks to all the people that support. And I do want to, because I know Robert's not here. He's not in the live chat today. He did message me and said he had to, he wasn't going to be able to make it during the show. He's going to watch it later and then be super upset that I brought this up. But I do want to give a monumental, giant, I don't know how big of a shout out I can give to Robert at this point. We've had a lot of interaction back and forth, and I appreciate that guy so much, and I want to give, I don't know how to phrase this properly, so I'm probably just going to spit it out. He is so generously brought the Patreon up, and I know that it doesn't show it right now on the Patreon page, but we're literally getting to a point, and that's because of Robert and everybody else that generously is on the Patreon. We have eclipsed the $2,000 a month mark, and that's almost like just a kick right in the gut, as in a good way. You know what I mean? where you're like, oh my God, so many people want to support the idea of trying to bring some community together in a maker space, in an actual space, but a lot of people actually just want to support making of videos and content and that kind of stuff. It is my dream to someday be at a point where I'm just producing content full time, without really throwing my morals in the garbage. Hopefully that makes sense, as those two pieces of commentary slowly gel into what I'm about. And one of the tiers on the Patreon is, if we get over the $2,500 a month, I can literally block out a day to just make a video every week, make an edited video, and have a day blocked out to actually do that and be like, nope, this is a day where I literally am making a video. I know that I make the live streams 2 days a week. It is my goal to get to the point where I can just make edited content and do the live shows and all the other stuff I like doing, like working out, going hiking and all that kind of stuff, make content out of that and just keep rocking and rolling. Jamie McDonald says, as a consumer of videos, I like the 10-minute video, but will watch anything at any length if it's interesting. Finding a balance is the key. Yeah, it's really one of those things. There really is like that ebb and flow of trying to find a balance. That, I do live in the United States, and it is not, and unfortunately for, I guess unfortunately for like kind of my YouTube career or whatever, I live in one of the most expensive areas of the United States. We live just outside of Seattle, which has rapidly become the most expensive place. And I would like to remind anybody out there that doesn't really know that much history about Seattle, Seattle has not been this way my entire life at all. When I was born out here, it's because my family was all military, all the military bases out here and stuff like that associated with the Navy and the Air Force and the Marine Corps. And I don't know if there are Army bases here too, but I don't have any family in the Army, so I'm not really that in the know of where the Army stuff is. But most of my family was all in the Navy. My grandparents. I'd have to verify my great grandparents, but regardless, both of my grandfathers were in the service. My father, my uncles, everybody on both sides of my family was in the military. Most of my cousins, that kind of stuff. I was one of the few that didn't sign up for the military when I was younger, but that's why I lived here, is because my father was stationed here out in Oak Harbor, which is kind of way out, but they ended up moving into an area up fairly north of Seattle is where I'm from, because my mother got a pretty good job at one of the big hospitals that was out here. And, I was born, there was cows across the street, with air quotes. I mean, that's where I was born and raised. And, over the 39 years, almost 40 years that I've lived here, it's definitely been an up and down curve of things going on around here. And then, over the last 10 years, it has just gotten incrementally, like, aggressively more expensive. If you go back and just look at where I was living 12 years ago, I lived in an area that was like, are you sure you have to pay rent at this apartment? This place is a dump. You pay somebody to live here? I lived in a really artsy area, and, I've never been a fancy guy, but the cost of living around here has skyrocketed. So we ended up moving down to Tacoma, where we could actually afford to have bought a house. And that was, about 2.5 years ago now. And I will say this so that you guys understand what's going on. If we tried to buy this house today, we probably wouldn't be able to pull it off. Like, that's how kind of crazy the prices of everything has just gone around here. It's just bizarre. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess something that would be kind of comparable would be like if somebody said, hey, here's a candy bar, right? Here's like a Hershey's candy bar, and it's $1. When you come back next year, that exact same candy bar is like $2.50, and you're like, what happened? It's the same candy bar, Then you come back a year later, and they're like, oh, this candy bar is $6 now, and you're like, why is it $6? And then you come back a year after that, and they're like, this candy bar will be $13 now, and you're like, am I at a 7-Eleven? What's happening? What? I swear I'm just at the convenience store, and I come back here once a year, and the price has just gone crazy for the exact same thing that was really not that expensive. You know what I mean? So, it has been definitely a big change around here as the prices have gone up and stuff like that. I never thought I would ever move to Tacoma and think that like, wow, we're going to be moving to Tacoma. It's actually not that bad. Tacoma down here, like where we live, it was for 30 years easy. This is the part of Washington that people would be like, oh, don't go to Tacoma. You'll get shot by people with guns, and they will murder you with their murder weapons, And I try to keep that as like YouTube friendly as possible. But it's kind of one of those things that's been very odd. And, so the whole reason I even was talking about that is that like, it's just become more and more oppressive just how expensive stuff is around here. And if it wasn't for Patreon, if it wasn't for people like becoming members on the channel and stuff, like I probably would have just been forced to quit. Like I probably would have been forced to quit. Like I would have been like, I do not have time for this. I need to go work overtime. And stuff like that. As is right now, I do work, I work basically 3 really long days, and that seems to kind of be working. And then plus we have our daughter here, so we're paying daycare and all that kind of stuff. But then my weekends are kind of taken up by the peanut baby, who I got to tell you guys, she is in her 3rd or 4th swing of being sick. We were at urgent care, which urgent care is sort of like a baby emergency department, if that makes sense. It's like urgent care. It's like not quite emergency. It's a little more accessible than the emergency department. We were in there until midnight on Thursday night. We were in there until midnight with Olivia because she broke out in this crazy rash. And as you guys know, she had the ear infection going. So she was on antibiotics, and, we were on the phone a couple of times with that rash situation. And they kept saying, oh, you know what? It's probably antibiotics. It's probably like a reaction to the antibiotics. Just stop taking the antibiotics. See if it clears up. Okay, so then that's the path that we went down. Then come like last Thursday, she was having that rash just got really bad. The rash got really, really bad. And she was just uncomfortable and whatnot. And so, the the on-call nurse said, you know what, just bring her down. We have a pediatrician here. Bring her down. We'll take a look. We'll see what's going on. So we go down on Thursday. We're there till, we didn't leave till like after midnight. We get home, go to bed. Got to get up at 5. Got to get Vicky out the door. Got the baby, but she can't go to daycare on Friday because on Thursday she was, the daycare people were like, she has diarrhea. She can't come back until 24 hours after the diarrhea event, which was probably related to the antibiotics and all that. So anyhow, Thursday night, we go in and they go, look, this didn't have anything to do with the antibiotics. This is just a viral rash. Get her out of here. Blah, blah, blah. So we go and we deal with all that. Okay, cool. Just, I go back and forth with the doctor just to make sure 100%. So we stop the antibiotics. She should be fine. Her ears look good, all that stuff. She doesn't have an infection anymore. Okay. So I'm like, all right. And I probably would have talked about this on Friday, but I was on baby duty all day on Friday. So we couldn't find a sitter. There's no backup sitters. It's just like impossible to try and find. It's like impossible to try and find somebody to watch the baby. So whatever. That's not anybody else's problem but ours. And so we go over the weekend. She's a little bit fussy. There's that kind of stuff going on. Oh, I see a peanut. Hold on. I got to turn on the other camera. Hey. Hold on. I have that camera's not on, so hold on. I got to turn it on.
I'm just going to sneak in behind you.
Why is it not coming on? Oh, there you go. There she is. The little baby bear. She's actually saying dada, which is cool because I'm the coolest and Vicky is the second coolest. So we got that going. You're up too high. No, there you go. So
She says, you hit that like button.
yeah, she says hit the like button.
We got to go to the store, Dad.
Okay, you guys going to the store?
Yep.
Okay. Have fun at the store.
All right. Say bye-bye, Dada.
Bye, sweetie. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye, Peanut. Olivia. Baby Peanut, I love your face.
She was waving like this.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So we were dealing with that, and then so I had to take care of the baby on Friday. That's all fine. I love Olivia. It's all good. And then over the weekend, she seemed to kind of be fussy, just kind of irritated. Yesterday, more fussy, more irritated. And then, we went up and did some family stuff. We went and saw some family that was in town from Alaska. And we did that, and we got home, and she was just not having it. She was just like way off from how she normally is. So we were like, okay, let's see what's going on. She seemed like she had a fever. We had given her some Tylenol earlier because she is teething and she has some other stuff going on. And so we were like, okay. And, I called in to the nurse, and the nurse just said, just come down. Like, the urgent care wasn't that busy, blah, blah, blah. Just come on down. I was like, okay. So we come down. We wait for the pediatrician for 2 hours in the admittance room, and we're just like, it was getting to the point where we were both just so tired and like worn out. We're like, let's just go home. I don't know what's going on here, but let's just go home. So finally, I was like, I don't want to be angry with people at hospitals and stuff, and so I do everything I can to not just be grouchy at the hospital and whatnot. But Vicky went and asked, and she said, I don't know, did somebody forget we were here or something? And I guess they had some slight emergency thing come in that the podiatrist had to see and whatever. So, but then, not the podiatrist, the pediatrician. There we go. But then she came in, and we realized both her ear infections are back. That is just back in full swing. So she can't go to daycare today because she's got the ear infections are back. Now she's back on the antibiotics, and we're on the other stuff. So it's just kind of been crazy. And, it's like I was home with Olivia on Thursday. I was home with Olivia on Friday. I was home with Olivia on Saturday. I was home with Olivia on Sunday. I was home with her this morning. And I'm like, I have so much work to do because I'm going to be gone at Vivarium here for like a week. And there ain't going to be nothing happening. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully I'm lucky and we can figure something out to upload some things from Europe. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just be a ghost for a little while. while we're out there in Europe filming our butts off. We're going to be filming our buns off, you guys. I did miss some super chats here. I want to grab those real quick because I'm probably going to forget. And then we're going to do an unboxing from Boost Plant. I don't know if you guys know who owns and runs Boost Plant, but I feel like I've met the people from Boost Plant, but I never know who they are. Terry's Tropical Tanks with a $5 super chat says, thanks for the recommend of the DC wave pumps. Not sure if it went through your link, so here's something for the tip jar. Oh, thanks, Terry. Man, I appreciate it. As you guys know, I like to pass on stuff that I've used, experience type stuff as much as I possibly can. And those DC wave pumps actually they do work, and there's good value. Sometimes, as I think everybody knows, that something that's a slightly cheaper product like that, and when I say slightly cheaper, I mean you can get like a $60 DC pump that would normally be in the high quality stuff like $400-$500. So it's a considerable amount of savings. They've worked for me. I've never really had one just flat out break. I've had them get slightly clogged up with stuff and things like that and needed some cleaning and some little attention, but they work quite well. They move a lot of water, and we even put some of the giant ones in at the Aquarium Co-op that are like, they move like 9,000 gallons an hour or something like that, which is considerable. That's a considerable amount of water. And I think those were even $400. So it's kind of a good alternative, It's just one of the things, like, you're not getting the big warranty, you're not getting all that extra stuff. But I feel like a 9,000 gallon an hour AC like Ecotech or something like that would be considerable amount of money, way more than $400. So I know the Iwaki ones are like $1,800 or something like that. Let's double check. Let's see if Amazon has Iwaki pumps on it. Let's look. Ow, I almost stabbed myself with this knife here that we're going to use for the unboxing. Iwaki water pump large. Let's go with that. Yeah, here's like the little Iwaki pump. And this one's $400. Maybe they aren't that expensive anymore. Iwaki's used to be like crazy expensive, or maybe my perspective is different now. It definitely could be it. So here's an Iwaki that, how much does this thing move though? That's really the question. Here's one. 35 gallons per minute is, yeah, that's not even comparable, right? Because 10 is 600, right? So that's only like 2,200 gallons per minute, and this one's $500. So, like, here's a link right here to the current USA version, which I'm really interested to try this pump out, but at like $150, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to spend $150 just to try out what could be a better version of the pump, and it be like, I don't know if this one's made in USA though. I know it's like current USA, but I wonder if it's made in the USA. That's always a question. But this one is actually like Bluetooth. You can hook up the controller to the Bluetooth, so it really seems like that might be something that is extremely helpful in the future of some bigger projects. But let's see, the DC pumps. And here we go. Here's the brand new Jibao has a newer type one that's out. And this is it right here. So if you guys are looking for some utility pumps, there's a couple links for them. By the way, if you actually just go through a link to Amazon and buy stuff, just whatever you're going to buy, it will give us a kickback. Heads up. I'm supposed to put a disclaimer or something. Like if you follow a link, we're an affiliate. So I don't know. Let's see. The Zen Ginger says, P.S. The antibiotics are proven to make diaper rash worse, but it's necessary. My youngest had blisters almost. It's awful. Good luck to both of you guys. Yeah, she had a real bad diaper rash situation, which we treated with the AD and D ointment and milk of magnesia, I think is what we had to mix that together. That worked out really well. It's just been, I love Olivia so much, and I don't think I would do any of this stuff for somebody else. I'm kidding. I would do half of it for someone else. Just not the combination of all of it. But yeah, so things are a little bit rough right now. We're a little rough around the edges, but that's not, whatever. Everything's fine. It's nothing that can't be dealt with. But we got a $5 super chat from the Fish Tank Barn. Says, have fun at Vivarium. Looking forward to the report when you get back. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Vivarium. I think it's going to be quite fun. I think it's going to be quite fun on the hobby action. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's going to be a bunch of cool stuff. Big D Smoke says the Bitterballin and Stroopwafel Fund on a $10 super chat. Yeah, the Stroopwafels, I think I'll probably gain about 5 pounds eating cookies and stuff while I'm out there. And Rumbust with the Swedish Krone 1994 super chat, 1,994 days that I have been sober, in sobriety with being sober, and that's my jam. That's what I do, and that's what we all about around here. Getting close to 2,000 days, which is kind of a big deal. I don't know. Anyhow, I got this box right here. It is an 8x4x4 Uline box from Buse Plant. I feel like I've met the people from Buse Plant, but I don't know who's there. I don't really know anybody at Buse Plant. Like, I don't know that I would know anybody like right off the top of my head and be like, I know that person. But they do have a fairly good reputation, and they do have quite a few plants that a lot of other people don't. This is not a paid advertisement or anything like that. I paid full price. I didn't even tell them I was ordering anything. I didn't email anybody. I went straight through the methodology of ordering that you guys would. I paid through PayPal, which is helpful. So I'm literally opening the box. I don't want to accidentally show off my address. So that's the only reason I don't have an overhead cam today. And I would have had to move it from over there. And I was like, I know I'm going to open this, and I could see the shipping label right there. So, but they have a DOA policy, which kind of makes sense. Dedicated to your satisfaction. Email us within 12 hours of delivery with some photos and something's dead, and they'll make it work. Apparently, there's a lot of there, but that seems to be the take on that. They sent out a sticker. Yeah. You guys know I'm a huge fan of stickers. If anybody has stickers, send them to Aquarium Co-op. Care of me, and I will get them. You can just put Corvus on there hella big, and then they'll know it's me. Yeah, so here's my address, and I don't want to accidentally post my address up here because then I'll have to move, and we don't have any money for that. But let's just read off what's on here. We've got some Amania bonsai, the aquatic farmer tissue culture, Cryptocorini costata, which I have been looking for a long time, and Cryptocorini Yuji, which hopefully I'm saying that. Yugii? I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong. I really only know it from having read it. I've never seen anybody have it. So I'm like, as you guys know, I'm a huge plant nerd. I will get my hands on stuff. Sometimes I kill it. Sometimes it thrives. That's just kind of the way that I have to go about things. And you know what? Sometimes you throw $30 at something and you give it a try and you just see what happens and you try to make it work. And that's just kind of one of the things with gardening, whether it's aquatic gardening or terrestrial gardening. So these come, these little tissue pots, which I'm not mad at. Now, the thing is, they're sealed. So it said there on their DOA that make sure it's still sealed. Send us a picture. Let us know if it's screwed up. And I did order, the reason I ordered 3 pots of this Ammonia, they're calling it bonsai, but completely forgetting the name of it right now because I keep reading the bonsai. Hold on, I got to look it up real quick. Let's search. I can't forget my brains. Bentley was talking about it in the Discord, and I was like, oh, I know who has that. And they call it Ammonia Bonsai, and I'm trying to remember the name. And I bet you Bentley will probably pop into the chat before I can even find it. Let me see. Oh, I'm not finding it. Let's see. Bentley. Pasco. Where did it go? Well, I can't find it now. That's not helpful. Every time I've been going onto the Discord today, I am not being able to find what I'm looking for on there. But maybe Bentley will pop into the chat and remind us of what it is called. Oh, and of course Bentley has a bunch of UGI, right? I just ordered it because it was I ordered that one because I was like, I don't have that one, and I was like, I want it, and it was just an add-on. So I just literally added this one on because it was like $3. And I wonder, there's Bentley. He's in the chat, so I can't remember. Maybe he'll post in there. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now while the show's going, but he'll remind us what it is. And then here's the Cryptocoronic costata, which I think this actually has a bulb happening. It has a little flower happening right now. Cool plant. Definitely cool plant. And I will definitely keep you guys posted on these. And, I would say the packaging here is, the pot here is completely squished. The rock wool is pushed out. Maybe not the best shipping I've seen in my life. But either way, Bentley Pascal says, well, true Ammonia bonsai is reclassified as a rotala. The plant I was looking for is Ammonia sulawesi. Oh, it's Ammonia sulawesi. Well, either way, I've got 3 pots of it. So, maybe I completely ordered the wrong one. Oh, well, either way, I'll get them into the 240, and hopefully we come back to some plants that are doing well. All right. So the packaging, I don't know if I would say that's the best packaging I've ever seen, but it's definitely not the worst packaging I've ever seen. So I'm not super mad about it, even though the pot's all kind of squished and stuff, but that's fine. It's not that big of a deal. All right, let me get rid of this and make some more heads or tails of what's going on. So today's video actually has to do with the 240, which what's going on there? Okay, just checking what's going on in the chat. Today's video portion is actually part of breaking down the 240, which Bracken was here to come help me with that, which is a big help. And I do have to resize myself. I gotta make which I hate that XSplit makes me do it this way, but that's how we're gonna have to do it. Where did this go? Where's today's video? Oh, there it is. I should probably click the button. Oh, it's all resized weird. So out of the 240, I wonder if I could flip this. No, I'll just move myself over here. Oh, no. I moved the wrong video. Move me. There we go. Make myself smaller. I'll make myself tiny down here so I'm not in the way. But, I framed this with the camera so that I would have a space there. Okay, so the 240, we've been definitely breaking that down and doing a lot with it. Bracken actually came and helped me out. This is what I do with all the extra plants from breaking down a big tank. Is I will normally put tank water into my big garbage can here and then put everything in it, which works out fantastically if you can get to it within a couple of days. We had this all timed out to get this thing broke down, to get these plants in there, and then I started separating them out last Monday, and then on Thursday I was supposed to get everything separated and planted, and if I had anything extra going on, I would have still had that Friday to mess with some of the stuff and get it done. But the interesting part is, with Olivia getting sick, this stuff has just sat in the garbage can for this long period of time, and it's just been sitting there, which is unfortunate because plants sitting in a bucket, you generally speaking can leave them in there for a long time, but out here it's been freezing. And so the concrete slab in my fish room is actually pretty cold because the outside temperature is just dropping down even below freezing, and that concrete slab is just absorbing the cold, and it slowly migrates its way into the low area into the fish room. It's not exactly optimal. It's not exactly the greatest deal, but this bucket sitting there, instead of it sitting at like 68 degrees, something like that it normally would be, I put the temp gun on it, and it was all the way down to 52. So it was like, which is not optimal. It's not that big of a deal. Like if you ship plants and it gets down to 52, not a big deal. Not the biggest deal in the world. But the in water is almost always going to be a problem. I'm trying to figure out who has Ammonia sulawesi, because it doesn't look, when it's in a little pot, this is what it looks like. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll grow it out and we'll see what it is once it's grown out. Okay. Sorry, I had that rattling around my head and I was like, I'm going to Google search that and see what I got wrong. But if it's not that big of a deal if your plants are like a tissue culture like that, or just plants like in a bag and it drops down to 52 degrees. But in water, heat transfers 5 times more in water than it does in air. So if the easy way to figure that out is that, let's say you were in really cold air, right, for about a half an hour, right? You'd have about a half an hour in really cold air. With the same temperature water, you'd only have 6 minutes. That's how I remember it. 6 to 30, right? So you have about 30 minutes of exposure in like 32 degree air. Like, let's say somehow you, for some weird reason, you're naked in a windy and it's 32 degrees outside. You have about a half an hour before you really start getting exposure and you might die. Same temperature water, you have 5 to 6 minutes. So that's the easy way to kind of figure out the heat transfer versus water and air. That's the easy way to do it. And that's the easy way to make it relatable, like in your dome piece, right? So if you had a plant that was just in a bag, it was sitting there and it was just moist inside the bag, and it was at 52 degrees, for instance, you could probably leave it sitting there for a couple of days, no problem. But 52 degrees in the water is really just breaking down the plant that much faster, and the cell walls in the plant start to break down, and then it smells like doo-doo compost. And that's how you'll know when it's really time to break down what's going on in the bucket. And that's what I was dealing with today was, Smells like somebody farted in this garbage can. It's time to get over here and get some of these plants separated out, make sure the ones that I can keep alive. So from this video here, you can kind of see what's more durable, what's not. I do have a bunch of Rotella macandra in here that just, there were a couple little pieces like that that I separated out that I'll see if they come back. I'm not that optimistic that they're going to come back. You know, the stargrass can make it. Like a lot of this Ludwigia that's in here really is just a durable plant. So, you know, Ludwigia repens especially, I recommend that anybody that's starting out, it just really is a very durable plant. And I do need some of it for the 240, so I am separating some of it out in this bucket. There's a little bit of a surprise at the end of this video. If you guys remember, there was a bulbitis video I did quite a while back where the bulbitis outgrew the 240. So I took that plant out and I took it to Corey's house and I threw it in his 800. I don't know what happened. I don't know what he did with it, but I put it in his 800. It was giant. Now we have ourselves a problem. We have the remaining plant from that basically grew to the same size. So we have another giant bulbitis that is out of control that's in this garbage can. So that definitely is one of the deals that that is having to be dealt with the 240, and I'm still undecided if I'm going to split it and move it around, but I'm thinking that's definitely going to be the deal with that bulbitis, is I'm going to have to break it, move it, but I think I have some good ideas with what I'm going to do with it, so it's going to be working out, I think, realistically. But we definitely had the composty doo-doo smell bucket here, and I definitely had to wash my hands after this because they just have that funky smell to them. But a lot of plants made it. Most of the cryptocorini, all the different kinds that I have that were just tossed in here, all were fine. They were, you know, surprisingly enough, I think my water is just pretty much exactly what crypts want. So they don't even melt even when I put them in this bucket and left them in there for a week. So, you know, it's not the worst thing because all those crypts are all still alive. So a lot of the trimmings I'm saving here and then throwing those into sumps to just nurse them back to health and then use them in some other tank display or something like that. I was recent. What was that? Yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was talking with a guy. I may or may not be trading my reef tank for basically another aquascaping, like a freshwater tank. So I haven't really made up my mind on that specific trade yet, or if I'm just going to sell the reef. But every time I try to sell something, it's like it's more of a hassle than anything. It's just so bizarre, like how much, you know, how difficult it is to sell something these days. I don't know why. I remember back in the day, you post up some nice pictures of something and be like, hey, this thing is X amount of money. And somebody would hit you up and they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to come over there and buy that because that's what I want. You know, and they'd come over and maybe you'd haggle a little bit and that kind of stuff, but you just get it done. Nowadays, you just end up having to write a novel to somebody about like the origins of, you know, it's like the origins of man to really just try and sell something. Yes, it's used. Yes, it's not brand new. No, I'm not a store. You know, it's very odd. It's very, very odd, but I don't know. It's getting to that. Fire really out of control in California. Keep safe whoever lives there. Yeah. Oh, so there's the bulbitis right there. It is, it's filling up this garbage can, basically. It is, it's giant size. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it, but I think I have a good idea how I'm going to aquascape with it, so that I don't have to take it somewhere and throw it in like Corey's tank. Now the thing is, like, I probably would try to sell this Bulbitis or something, but as I just highlighted, trying to sell the reef tank has been a nightmare. Which I just took the stuff down because I was like, look, I just don't think I could deal with this anymore. Maybe I'll just trade it with somebody. The same thing with this Bulbitis. If I'm like, you know, how much would you be able to sell this Bulbitis for? Like $100, really? I mean, realistically, it's, I don't know, a couple $100 worth of Bulbitis probably, but who am I going to sell it to? You know, nobody showing up with like $200 in their pocket to buy one big ass plant, right? So, I don't know if, I don't know. It's bizarre. So I'm probably gonna break it up, move it around the tank, and then see what happens. Right? We're gonna see what happens. Oh, I had to have the video replay. Yeah. All right, so everybody says life lessons from me. Yes, life lessons today. That's the plan. So we did the unboxing. Bentley told me we got the wrong plant, so I guess I'll have to figure out. It's Nature Man says I dropped some coin at Boost Plant. It was well worth it. Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm wondering if I should just contact some of the farmers that are supplying Boost Plant, or if I should contact Boost Plant just to be like, what's up? You know, maybe they want to do a project or something. I don't know. I'm kind of at the point right now where I don't know if I want to do projects with anybody anymore, to be honest. Kind of feeling that right now. But I'm going to see what happens when we go to Vivarium. Maybe there'll be some people that want to do a project out of Vivarium that might be worth talking to somebody. So, you know, we'll see. Dave says that's probably $150, $200 plant for where I am in the plant and tank community. Yeah, I mean, it really, and that's the issue, is that, like, if I'm trying to sell a $200 plant to somebody, they're going to be crazy. I mean, not specifically, like, medically crazy or anything, but they're going to be like, oh, what's this? There's a little bit of hair algae over here. Oh, what's that? You know, it's going to be a little bit rough, I think. I think if we're honest, somebody that's showing up with $200 cash is going to be real finicky. That's the better word. They're going to be real finicky about what's going on. Jim was asking, is there like 60 plants in the tissue culture? I'm actually going to pop one of these open. Because I'd be surprised how many stems are actually in here. It's got the gel. Come on. Yeah, here we go. Now I got it popped out. So let's put me back. Let's put me back full screen so you guys can check this out. So here it is right here. It's in this gel, which you do have to wash this gel off. But that's a happy amount of stems. You know, I would honestly say probably half of these will make it with the conversion to going underwater. But there's like at least 20 stems here to propagate. You can see how well their roots are. It's not bad at all, you know, can't be mad at that. So once I wash these off, I'll make a detailed video when I plant them. I have that set up in the fish room right now, so I'll be able to shoot taking it apart and showing you guys what's up. You know, but I'll let you guys know what's going on with that in a more detailed video. Obviously, I spent money there, so I better make a video about it, and then, you know, people can watch it, and then I can make $4. Some people were super mad. I was watching H3H3 podcast, and, you know, Ethan on there had mentioned how much money somebody made off of a video, and they had mentioned that sharing your analytics on YouTube is supposedly against the rules. Turns out that's an urban myth. So there's really you can share like revenue and stuff like that. Like they don't want you to share like demographic analytics or that kind of stuff, but you know, I'm not mad to tell you, you know, I'm not that upset to tell you guys that, you know, on average, like a video that I put out makes like $4. So, and to be brutally honest, like we got a new member today, Soren. Big shout out to a brand new member today. And let's hold on. So how many members? We went down like 5 members, then we went up. No, we went down. Yeah, we went down 5 members, then we went up 2, and then we got 1 today. So now we're back to basically like where we were at before. We're at 80 members. So here's what's crazy. The 80 people that like, hold on, let me go. Where is it? Analytics. There we go. Reach, engagement, audience, revenue. There it is. Let's go over to revenue right here. So the percentage of, here it is, estimated ad revenue is, hold on, I have to add these up because they don't give you a whole chart here. $186. So, and then I think anybody out there could do the math. 80 times 5, right? Which they take their cut out of it. So it comes out to $300. So the 80 people, and then let's get, hold on. Let's go like this. Let me look over here. Wait, where am I at? This new thing is nonsense. So it's super funny because the 80 people that watch this, and let me go to analytics of just raw analytics. So 300,000 watch minutes last month, 50,000 views, 25,000 subscribers, right? So 80 people are responsible for most of the revenue on this channel. Plus, I guess, super chats? No, I think those are included. Hold on. Yeah, those are included in that number. So it's a really weird thing where it's like, I got to give a shout out to the Patreon people and I got to give a shout out to the members because that's how YouTube has formatted it now. I don't know. I wish it was different, but I guess maybe someday I'll just have to start making clickbait or something. You know? But it's just literally like all those green names in the chat, the people with the green names, just kind of, you know, how it goes. Candy Overhaul says, I've never had good luck with tissue culture plants. Yeah, I've never had the greatest luck with tissue culture plants. You do really have to put them in the optimal position for that plant to convert. I would say I'm about 60-40 success rate, which is much lower than converted potted plants. You know, most, I wouldn't say it's 100%. Let's say 95% of the plants that I get that are, you know, aquacultured from a hobbyist or something like that, it's fine. It's pretty rare that I get a plant that just that's just not going to work out all that well. Now, obviously, I do test my tanks and stuff to make sure that they're pretty close to what should be going on. I do inject CO2. I do have good lights. I do have good substrate. But there isn't much else you could do other than that realistically. So, you know. Let's see. Annalise showed up. What's up? Marco showed up. Fishkeeperist. Fishkeeperist watched that podcast. Yeah, it was kind of funny because that H3 podcast, like that one video that she put up made $8,000, and I guess she'd gone around telling everybody that it wasn't even monetized at all. You know, and it's like, huh, very odd, very odd to hear the extreme like dishonesty, but you know. 54 Punchy says has posted the Patreon link. I do 100% Give mad props to the Patreon people. You could be somebody at like $1 a month over on Patreon. I could potentially, I think, change membership tiers on YouTube, but I don't really know. I don't really know what that brings to the table, because I feel like Patreon has all that stuff, but maybe I'll put like a high level tier or something and on the memberships, like if somebody wants to wild out like Robert. So just so you guys know the generosity of Robert, because I feel like the people that are here right now didn't accidentally end up on this video. I feel like the 100 people watching right now are probably pretty, I mean, most everybody in the chat I recognize. So, but Robert has literally, he's put his money where his mouth is. He's gone in for $1,000 a month, which honestly I thought was super crazy. But after talking with him, like, I understand where he's coming from, and he wants to do that, and that's what he wants to do. I think it's pretty wild. I honestly think it's wild that the fishy mailman and people like Barbara, the fishy mailman. I feel like I'm just gonna like accidentally miss somebody. Like I have a lot of appreciation for the people that have been, supporting the show for such a long time and at such a generous level and stuff like that. Like it's kind of wild. And, to see somebody like Robert come in at like $1,000 a month is pretty wild in its own right. But I get where he's coming from. And after talking with him, like, I just had to get to the point where I just said, all right, man, thank you. Like, it's just kind of overwhelming. You know what I mean? And so, hopefully that helps us get closer and closer to just honestly just making videos all the time. So at some point it could literally like just keep getting better and better and moving up and hopefully bring more stuff. One of the big things that I'm really trying to work on for the next year is, one of the things I'm really trying to work on for the production of next year is to try and bring a better message about what I'm about and kind of have it make more sense. It's like, why do I think planet aquariums and fish tanks and aquaculture and hydroponics and all this stuff is so important? A lot of it does apply to America because I'm from America, is that people don't necessarily have that big connection with nature these days. I mean, it's 2019. We live in houses. We live inside. We work inside. Maybe you work on construction and you are physically outside, but you're not engaging with nature. You might be digging and pouring concrete. You might be laying tile. You might be pulling electrical wire. You might be doing this. A lot of people in the chat I know are stuck working in an office Monday through Friday, which means you're not out hiking, you're not out fishing, you're not out farming, you're not necessarily engaging directly with the environment where we're from, the earth, all the greenery, the green stuff, the earth stuff that comes from the planet. And I really feel that, an aquarium can bring that connection without it being such a monumental task, right? Like driving out to the mountains, rambling around. What are you going to do? Go hunt a deer randomly? Like that's a lot. That's a lot to embark on. That's a lot to set out on. And it's pretty wild. I mean, setting up an aquarium isn't nothing, but realistically, like let's say you just got a 33-gallon long, couple bags of substrate, a decent light, and started messing around with some plants and stuff in your living space. You might live in an apartment, you might have to live in an apartment somewhere that like barely has natural light coming in. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is a reality that we're all kind of dealing with. And I don't think we're necessarily like engaging with the planet where we're from on a regular basis. And I feel like aquariums are kind of the gateway to that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a real thing. It's a real gateway for people to get engaged with some of nature and some of the planet that we're from. It would be really easy for the average person to just kind of dissuade that and just like disregard it and be like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. And I know for me, if I was to go back like 15 years ago and talk to me 15 years ago, I probably would have been like, yeah, whatever, it's not a big deal. But I really do feel like YouTube and the video platform that we have here is a space where the average person could come in contact with a produced piece of content that could make them think about it differently than just like talking with somebody, right? Like just being like, oh, aquariums are cool, bro. You should try one. And they're like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I talked to that guy about it when I was over there at the store or something, you know. So I think that's going to be my big main focus. I am going to be working on some sort of environmental volunteering projects next year, regardless of however much time I have. We will literally be able to bring Olivia with us on that kind of stuff. So we're working on that and hopefully help start getting the word out on some stuff that the average person could do as far as like helping out with the environment, where we live, where we're spending our time and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about the next year. And, you know, like, that's a big commitment for somebody to be like, yeah, I believe in you kind of deal. Like, and I just want to express that, kind of talk about it before I'm going to be gone for a week and a half and going out to film. And, like, I do have a lot of expectations for myself, like going out on this trip. It's not $0, but it wouldn't be possible if we didn't have like sponsors and stuff. So, it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. And, you know, I feel like this is the kind of stuff that people don't ever get to talk about like on their channels. So I'm going to talk about it on my channel. And, you know, I don't know. I really have hopes to keep moving forward and building this community as best I can. So I don't know. I'm just going to be on here, guys. Going to be crying, be upset. And I do like the reason that I am kind of upset is that, yes, I did have a loss in the family recently, like a month ago. And, it really made me think. It really made me think that like this stuff that I want to be doing, like I'm just going to do it. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, like the society that we live in can be, or at least feel, really oppressive from the standpoint of like having to pay bills and stuff. Like it's just a reality. It's a reality that has incrementally changed. It's incrementally just creeped its way to a point where, you know, here in 2019, we thought in 2020 we would have flying cars. Everybody would be, you know, like everybody would be living like the Jetsons or something. And we just incrementally worked our way into everything's just more and more expensive and a little more oppressive, you know. And, you know, the reality is like with Olivia being sick and certain things going on, like there's a wall in the way of certain things. And I know people always tell me like, don't get political on your channel. It pisses people off. But I'm a political guy, and it's something that I talk about a lot. And, you know, with Olivia getting sick, with the healthcare in this country and the situation that we have with that needs to be addressed by somebody. I don't care who you want to vote for. I don't care. As long as you stick to making sure that something happens with the healthcare around here in this country. In this country right here. You guys know I've talked about Candy overhauls. I've talked about Caleb overhauls. Now Stacy overhauls is having had a heart attack. like a month ago, and I saw some really generous people helping out with GoFundMe's and stuff. It's just like one example that our healthcare system is just like straight up dropping people like with like it just whatever like and and I think that's just another little piece of that incremental pie where it's like Vicky and I want to move away. We want to move somewhere, but then it's like, well, what are we going to do with healthcare? Vicky's work provides our healthcare, and it's one thing for me to gamble with my own health. As you guys know, I've been hospitalized a bunch of times. I've spent weeks in the ICU. I've had, my chart is ridiculous. I mean, it's a good thing that it's on. I don't even know if it's on a hard drive now. Is it on a computer? Have they computerized that? Have they computerized the health charts of people? I don't know. Last time I heard, Congress was attempting to pass some legislation so that people could get their charts digitized so that they could move around, but who knows? I don't even know. I have to look into that. But Vicky and I want to go do something, and I'll gamble with my health. But I'm not going to gamble with Vicky's health. I'm not going to gamble with Olivia's health. I'm going to use my right hand. I forget it's backwards because we're on a camera. I'm not going to gamble with that situation. So I did get kind of depressed a little while ago because I felt like, man, like, why am I not able to like kind of create the stuff that I really want to create? I feel like I'm working on it a lot. And the reality is like, I'm just working a lot, taking care of Olivia, going to work to pay the bills, and then trying to do creative stuff like this on a regular basis, keep up with the schedule, make the stuff, and then just going like, oh crap, like it's not as good and stuff. So, yeah, I totally got on this crazy tangent, but Candy says the healthcare is broken in this country, and yeah, that's the reality. Laura Morgan says aquariums as an entry point to connecting with / caring for the world around us makes sense to me, and it's why I'm a Patreon. Even if I can't connect on the Discord much. Thank you, Laura. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, the Discord is a great spot to go back and forth about stuff. It's a great space to be able to like have an exchange of ideas and things. We've realistically only ever had one person on there that we really had a problem with, and it's kind of a great space to be able to at least explore some ideas, have some conversations. If you have questions or pictures of something, it is something that's really always kind of on, and there's a lot of people on there that are very helpful. Adam Wing says, how far away can I put CO2 from my aquariums? I would like to put the CO2 canisters in the insulated garage and not in the house. How would you do it? If possible, probably around 200 to 250 feet away. That really just comes down to your CO2 air line, the actual line that you're using. And as you guys know, I'm a classically trained chef, and I learned this from, I don't know if I want to say what soda company it was, because I don't want to give them any free advertising. It's not like they ever sponsored this damn show. So we will call them the Caleb Overhauls Soda Company. You get what you get what I'm saying. I'm not giving any of those pop people free advertising, but I'll give Caleb advertising because he's the man. And but where'd my chat go? I keep losing my chat. But I learned this from one of them on how to run CO2 lines. So let me see. I got to pop into my orders here. And I know that Bracken was asking about this, so maybe he'll be around. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it here in my orders. Although I don't. Let me see if I can find it. I have to search. It was quite a long time ago. Here we go. It's ATP IMBIB NSF 61 polyethylene polyethylene plastic tubing. And this happens to be 100 feet in length. You may have to buy a connector or possibly find one that's a little bit longer. This one happens to be green. Let's stick with something that's a little more classically CO2 line and go to blue. Let me get you a link here so you guys will be able to check this out. Now, the difference with the polyethylene tubing is, and by the way, if you guys go on here and buy all of this stuff off of Amazon, it'll give us a little bit of a kickback. So feel free to do that. Go crazy. Spend all your paychecks on there, and I'll probably get $3 out of it or something. But either way, that's another little dip in the bucket if you guys want to support, and maybe you don't want to be a patronizer. Maybe you don't want to be a member. Maybe you don't want to do any of that stuff. Hey, the Amazon thing is just straight up just taking some of Jeff Bezos' money, and he seems to have all of the money, so maybe F that guy? I don't know. Maybe something? I don't know. But that polyethylene line is actually a hard line. So as it's pressurized with the CO2 that's running through it, in a non-hard line application, what ends up happening is that stress ends up stressing out the tubing. Even though it doesn't seem like a lot, and it realistically isn't a lot, the longer length you get on, it starts to become a problem with that line. It'll crack, it'll pop open, you'll have problems with it. There's many ways that it will fail, and it's not good. The polyethylene hard line like this is a little bit difficult to manage because it's a harder line, so it's more difficult. It's kind of all floppy and crazy, hard to deal with. You will have to pin it up with some kind of tacks or zip ties or however you want to get it stuck to something. It's like pulling PEX line, if you've ever pulled PEX before. But it really works well for running really long distances. Right now I have it, the furthest one in my fish room is probably 30 feet right now, and I have no problems with pressure, but that pressure issue really screws things up in a long distance, not only with the line, but also with how it's actually going to get the CO2 down there. Like if you have a diffuser, the diffuser will run all weird because sometimes it'll get a bunch of pressure and then it'll get none, and it's just kind of a mess. So you definitely want to run that polyethylene hard line, but it is a little bit more difficult to hook up to it, so just bear that in mind. You will have to dip it in some hot water to get the so like this deal right here, this little compression coupler, you'll have to dip that line, the polyethylene tube, in some hot water. You'll feed it through this and through there, dip it in some hot water to get it over this little ridge here, and then screw it on, and it'll be generally fine. But as you can see, 100 feet of it's about $15. So if you need to cut that off and try it a couple of times, it's like a 1 cent worth of line or something. It's not really that big of a deal. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But that's the only way I've ever been able to run it long distances and have it work properly, especially over time. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like it might work well for 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Maybe the 13th week it fails. But you haven't been paying attention to it because it's been running fine for 3 months. And you're like, oh, no, that thing's totally cool. I never check that anymore. Boom, shakalaka. And you're going to have just a big old disaster in your tank. You know, to be brutally honest with you guys, one of the biggest success markers to deal with, to bring success to your aquarium, is injecting some CO2. You know, if you really have consistent CO2 levels, it will combat most of the algae. The plant's growing robust, they'll grow nicely, and it's just kind of one of the best dollar for dollar additions that you can do with a planted aquarium. It just really kind of is the route to go, realistically. It's Nature Man says, thanks, later. Have a good day. Well, thank you. You have a good day, too. But, yeah, I am getting up to that 4:30 mark, and I'm going to start dinner for the family and stuff. And I feel like I've kind of already said a lot today. So, and I don't see a ton of questions other than those last two that were right there. Reading. Marco Peterson says, "Hi Joel, will you bring some merch at Vivarium that we can buy from you with your autograph?" To be real honest, Marco, like I did not plan to bring any merch with me to Vivarium, but if you bring something, I'll sign it. I did not plan on bringing anything with me to Vivarium, like as far as merch goes. I to be honest with you guys, I'm not really that invested in doing merch at this point. I was kind of planning on doing a print of some, what's the word, of some t-shirts, a print run at some point in time, but realistically to do a decent run of shirts is about like $2,500, and then you have to sell them, and then you have to ship them and do all that kind of stuff. So if the outreach or if the outcry is really there, maybe I'll do that at some point, but I don't feel like oh, my throat's just getting all scratchy. I don't feel like there's just that much, that many people that are like, boy, howdy, I really need a t-shirt from you. So I figure just keep focusing on making videos, and that'll be the thing that I make. So I don't know, but maybe I'll find something here I could bring with me. I don't know. I didn't have any plans of that, though. Ken's wondering, what are we eating for dinner? I have, what do I have? I have leftover, I have a leftover something up there. It's corned beef? I think it's corned beef. I think I'm going to do something kind of weird. I'm going to do like a carbonara pasta, but with corned beef. I don't know. I'm going to try that out. Maybe Vicky will be super mad and not eat it. But chances are I'm a baller, so it's probably going to be pretty good. Valerie Van Zyl says, Joel, my honey is coming home next week from Turkey, and I'm getting him into fish, so he will be joining with me. That's awesome. It's also a really cool hobby you could do with your spouse. Whether your spouse is male, female, or non-binary, it's a good hobby that you could do together. Reaver says, north of the border, one party keeps trying to make it a two-tier system. Keep fighting to keep it the way it is. That way my fellow Canadians have the healthcare system we need. Yeah. I personally, as far as the healthcare goes, I think Medicare for all is seemingly the best plan-ish thing that we could do, kind of in my opinion. And if people want to add supplemental insurance, cool. But there's really nothing more important than people's health. And I don't know how often people say that. It's an adage that people throw out there all the time. But it seems like our system here is more designed to extract money and leverage power against our fellow citizens. So it seems a little bit weird to me that if our health is the most important thing, why aren't we investing in it so everybody can be healthy? All right. Well, it seems like the end of the show. Probably pissed off somebody at the end there talking about Medicare, Medicaid. But, all right. Fishkeeper says, yeah, the shirt biz is a grindy grind. Yeah, I don't mind doing that kind of stuff, but I just, honestly, it's one of those things that would take up a day of the week, every week, kind of forever, if I'm shipping them and stuff. And I just don't think, I just don't think there's that much like real demand for it. But if people really want shirts, leave a comment and maybe I'll print some out. I don't know. Maybe I'll print some at some point, but I'd have to figure out exactly what's going on with that. And then, once you make shirts, then everybody wants different designs all the time. And, Fern Haven says, thanks for acknowledging the non-binary. Hey, man, like that's why I call everybody bruh, because I don't know, everybody's kind of the same to me. Like, if you're not Victoria or my immediate family, I feel like I try to give everybody the exact same benefit of the doubt, respect, all that kind of stuff. And I really try not to offend people, but I offend people on a regular basis, but I do my best to correct behavior if it has been proven to be a valid offense, you know. So, but yeah, hopefully everybody's having a great time out there. Maybe I'll do a short live stream before I leave on Wednesday, but I'm not guaranteeing it. Anyhow, love you guys, and I will talk to you on the flip side. If I ever remember how to like turn the live stream off now, it's always so weird. I think it's this button. I don't know. I forget how to end it. I think it's this.